In a move that has sent shockwaves through the world of international development, Secretary of State Marco Rubio announced a sweeping overhaul of the United States Agency for International Development, or USAID. This restructuring, the most significant in the agency's history, has resulted in the elimination of a staggering 83% of its programs, affecting thousands of contracts and initiatives across the globe. Rubio, known for his hawkish foreign policy stance, defended the cuts as necessary to refocus American foreign assistance on core national interests. This dramatic shift in policy has ignited a firestorm of controversy, raising questions about the future of U.S. global engagement and its commitment to humanitarian aid. The announcement comes amidst a broader push by the Trump administration to streamline government operations and reduce foreign aid spending. This initiative, spearheaded by President Trump himself, aims to eliminate what he has often called wasteful and ineffective programs. The administration argues that a leaner, more targeted approach to foreign assistance will ultimately yield better results and enhance American influence abroad. Critics, however, contend that the cuts will have devastating consequences for vulnerable populations around the world and undermine decades of progress in areas such as global health, poverty reduction, and democracy promotion. The scale of the cuts is unprecedented. Over 5,200 USAID contracts have been terminated, leaving many wondering about the fate of ongoing projects and the people they serve. The remaining 18% of programs considered critical to U.S. national security and strategic interests will be transferred to the direct oversight of the State Department. This consolidation of power within the State Department reflects the administration's desire for greater control over foreign assistance and a more centralized decision-making process. The USAID restructuring is part of a broader trend of retrenchment in American foreign policy under the Trump administration. From withdrawing from international agreements to imposing tariffs on allies, the administration has shown a clear preference for unilateral action and a skepticism towards multilateralism. This inward-looking approach has raised concerns among America's traditional allies who fear that the U.S. is abdicating its global leadership role. Secretary Rubio, in his address announcing the USAID overhaul, articulated the administration's rationale for the deep cuts, arguing that many programs no longer aligned with U.S. national interests. He characterized some initiatives as unfocused and ineffective, claiming they failed to deliver tangible results or in some cases even ran counter to American goals. The Secretary emphasized the need to prioritize programs that directly enhance U.S. security, promote economic prosperity, and advance American values. Central to the administration's critique of USAID is the belief that foreign aid has become bloated and unaccountable. Critics within the administration point to instances of waste, fraud, and abuse within USAID programs as evidence of an agency in dire need of reform. They argue that the sheer size and scope of USAID's operations have made it difficult to effectively monitor and evaluate the impact of its programs. This lack of oversight, they contend, has created an environment where inefficiency and mismanagement can flourish. Furthermore, the administration has expressed concerns about the ideological bent of certain USAID programs. Some critics within the administration have accused the agency of promoting a globalist agenda that undermines American sovereignty and values. They argue that USAID has at times prioritized the interests of foreign countries and international organizations over those of the United States. This perception of USAID as beholden to external actors has fueled the desire for a more nationalistic approach to foreign assistance. The administration's decision to slash USAID funding also reflects a broader skepticism towards foreign aid among some segments of the American public. This skepticism is rooted in the belief that foreign aid is ineffective, wasteful, and ultimately benefits foreign governments rather than the intended recipients. Proponents of this view argue that American taxpayer dollars are better spent addressing domestic priorities, such as improving infrastructure or reducing the national debt. Adding another layer of intrigue to the USAID shakeup is the prominent role played by Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE. Tasked with identifying inefficiencies and streamlining government operations, DOGE conducted a comprehensive review of USAID, culminating in a series of recommendations that ultimately led to the mass program cancellations. The department, known for its data-driven approach and reliance on technology, applied its analytical prowess to dissect USAID's sprawling bureaucracy. Musk, a vocal advocate for government reform and a close confidant of President Trump, has long argued that traditional bureaucratic structures are ill-equipped to address the challenges of the 21st century. He envisions a future where government agencies operate more like agile tech companies, leveraging data, automation, and innovation to maximize efficiency and deliver better outcomes. Doge's involvement in the USAID overhaul is seen as a testament to Musk's growing influence within the Trump administration. The department's analysis of USAID reportedly revealed a number of systemic problems, including redundant programs, overlapping mandates, and a lack of clear performance metrics. Doge's recommendations focused on consolidating programs, eliminating duplication of effort, and implementing rigorous performance-based funding mechanisms. The goal, according to Musk, was to create a leaner, meaner, and more effective USAID that could deliver tangible results for the American people. The partnership between USAID and Doge has drawn both praise and criticism. Supporters applaud the administration's willingness to embrace innovative approaches to government reform and leverage the expertise of the private sector. They argue that Doge's involvement will inject much-needed accountability and efficiency into USAID's operations. Critics, however, express concerns about the outsized influence of a single individual and the potential for conflicts of interest, given Musk's vast business holdings. As expected, the scale and speed of the USAID cuts have triggered a wave of controversy and legal challenges. Lawmakers from both sides of the aisle have criticized the administration for circumventing Congress's constitutional authority over appropriations. They argue that the administration overstepped its bounds by canceling congressionally funded programs without seeking legislative approval. Several lawsuits have been filed challenging the legality of the cuts, alleging that the administration violated the Impoundment Control Act, which restricts the president's ability to withhold funds appropriated by Congress. Adding to the turmoil, the abrupt shutdown of USAID programs has resulted in widespread layoffs within the agency and among its implementing partners. Thousands of development professionals have been left without jobs, throwing their lives into disarray and raising concerns about a brain drain within the international development sector. The sudden halt to funding has also left many ongoing projects in limbo, jeopardizing years of progress and potentially harming the very people USAID is meant to help. The controversy surrounding the USAID cuts highlights the deep partisan divisions that continue to plague Washington. Democrats have accused the administration of playing politics with foreign aid, arguing that the cuts will harm America's standing in the world and undermine its moral authority. Republicans, while generally supportive of the administration's efforts to reduce foreign aid spending, have expressed reservations about the process, arguing that Congress should have been more closely consulted. The legal battles over the USAID cuts are expected to be protracted and contentious, with the potential to reach the Supreme Court. The outcome of these cases will have far-reaching implications for the balance of power between the executive and legislative branches, as well as the future of U.S. foreign assistance.